We're going to return to Proverbs, and we're still in the series Family, Friends, Fidelity. Family, Friends, Fidelity. Proverbs 3. And I started at 19 and went through 31, and I will do so, and then we'll go as time allows. Let us be encouraged. Let us be encouraged. Let us be encouraged, even in times like this. Torah and correct execution of Torah will deliver us out of every dilemma until the one that can set everything in order returns. And in living out Torah in your life, what you're actually saying is, Mashiach is coming. Not he's going to come. He's coming. That's actually what you're doing when you live out Torah in your life. Even those that have a problem with the concept of Mashiach is coming, many of them realize, I got to live out Torah. And I've said to you before, Torah's for everybody, whether they realize it or not. Let me start out of the familiar translation. 19, Proverbs 3. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth. By understanding hath he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. My son, and you can put daughter as well, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thou shalt sleep, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. When it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand, of thine hand, of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he or she dwelleth securely by thee. Seeing, observing, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Seeing is a key phrase there. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. If is key there. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Let's hear it out of another. Translation. Thank you, Senior Pastor. And here they have Adonai, but we like to use Yahweh. So Yahweh by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the deep bursts open and the dew condenses from the sky. My son, don't let these slip from your sight. Preserve common sense and discretion. They will be life for your being and grace for your neck. Then you will walk your way securely without hurting your foot. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Don't be afraid of sudden terror or destruction caused by the wicked. Let me read that again. Don't be afraid of sudden terror or destruction caused by the wicked. When it comes, salt of the earth, when it comes, believers, when it comes, those that love the Lord, when it comes. For you can rely on Yah. He will keep your foot from being caught in a trap. He will do it. See, because if we leave it up to our own device, we get tricked every day. Let that sink in just for a second. He will keep your foot from being caught in a trap. Don't withhold good from someone entitled to it. When you have in hand the power to do it. See, a lot of things we don't have to, I got to pray about it. No, you don't. He just told you what to do. And I shared with you in times past, a lot of times that's a catchphrase for us. I really don't want to do what you asking me to do. So rather than tell you no, let me think about it. But we say in church, let me pray about it. And what we really don't understand is they are synonymous. But in church, we don't think that's too earthy. But the one that made you, well, let's keep going. Don't tell your neighbor, go away, come another time. I'll give it to you tomorrow. When you have it now. Don't plan harm against your neighbor who lives beside you trustingly. See, he quantified that. See, we got this and said, well, I got to be kind to everybody. Never mind they kick me in the behind every time I turn around. I got to be kind. No, he says, who lives beside you trustingly. In other words, brother, I mean you no harm. Listen to this. Saints, salt of the earth, don't quarrel with someone for no reason. It didn't say don't quarrel at all. I got to keep the peace. All hell breaking loose, but I got to keep the peace. Well, sometimes you might have to have a stern word with a person. But he said, don't do it for no reason. I mean, don't quarrel with someone for no reason. If he has done you no harm. And see, that brings into repentance. It brings all of that. See, because there's been a lot of pseudo repentance going on. And see, those that study know that, well, if I throw this out, they gotta forgive me. Do they really? Let's read that again. Let's read that again. Because see, this is why problems still persist. Because the repentance has been false. We get tricked often. And they said, what did he say? He said, he'll keep your foot from falling in a trap. Because basically he's saying, children, we in a football game and it's just the second quarter and we down 49-0. And we playing by the rules, but the other team, they cheating every way possible. And he did say earlier, hey, don't follow any of the oppressor's ways. He said none of them. So yeah, they cheating and they winning, but that don't give us license to start cheating too. That's why being a believer is hard. You're not a wimp. You're not a wuss. You don't have to be a pushover. You don't have to be a bully either. Don't quarrel with someone for no reason if he has done you no harm. Don't envy a man of violence. Don't choose any of his ways. For the perverse is an abomination to Yah, but he shares his secret counsel with the upright. But upright, when he shares his secret counsel, what are we hearing? Really, what are we hearing? See, we think only certain people hear from the Most High. And it depends on which way they study, who they associated with. And I keep saying, we've been tricked, particularly those of us that were born here in the States, black and white, brown, yellow. We've had a number done on us. And things have been done that have turned us against one another. Civil wars, they've happened in other nations hundreds and thousands of years before the Civil War in America. And some of the same people were behind that. I tell you, we were told we've been duped, but we weren't told to what degree we've been duped. And I'm telling you, more and more and more is being unearthed. And I just pray that everybody that's really trying to live by Torah begin to uncover these truths and realize it is the United States of America. Oh. I know what we call the Middle East callers. They call us the Great Satan. Now, I don't know why they would say the Great Satan. I mean, because part of them don't even believe that Satan exists. But when it comes to the United States, the Great Satan. And they got more problems than we do. Saints, we need to relearn history. We really need to relearn history. It's alarming. It's alarming. Don't envy a man of violence. Don't choose any of his ways, for the perverse is an abomination to Adonai, but he shares his secret counsel with the upright. Yah curse is in the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. 34, the scornful he scorns, but gives grace to the humble. The wise win honor, but fools win shame. Now, it's up to us what category we're in. It's up to us. In 7, still in Proverbs 3, listen to this out of this other translation. It says, don't be conceited, and this will help some of you that view me and people like me as, oh, he's so conceited. He says here, don't be conceited about your own wisdom. So for those of you that are sitting there, help him, Lord. I just read it. And I know it applies to me. But guess what, Einstein? It applies to you too. Don't be conceited about your own wisdom, but fear Yah and turn from evil. This will bring health to your body and give you strength to your bones. I had a real good friend of mine this week. They lost their job. They cut half the department. And, I asked for, once again, I asked for wisdom as to when to share and what to share, because I always try to take into consideration who I'm speaking to, whose house I'm in speaking to. Because there's some things that I won't share in certain company. I know people say, well, polite people don't discuss certain topics in what they call mixed company. Well, I try to take a survey of the room if I'm going to have something to say. And there's still certain things I'm like, I don't want to say that. But they called me because I've been telling a lot of my friends and associates, I said, look, man, cuts are coming. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't get happy about bad news. I'm just merely, when I find out something, I want to make people aware, hey, this is what's coming down the pike. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not wishing bad on, I'm not one of those that, man, I just want America to just go down the tubes. I don't want that. I got blood that's buried in this land here. Righteous blood. And so a lot of my conversation, I'm just trying to just prepare people. And you know what? I hope I'm wrong. But if I tell you to pay your bills, pay them down as best you can, put some money aside, and everything turns out great, you got $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to do something else. When the price in the houses go down, you can get you some rental property, if that's what you want to do. But are you going to come to me and say, well, Barry, I put away $50,000 and you talked all that doom and gloom and ain't nothing happened. You know what I'm going to say to you? Can I get some of that $10,000 or $15,000 you got? I done paid all my bills down, man, and I don't owe nobody, and now I think I might want to retire. Oh, really? And so they call and said, well, this is what happened. They text me, and I was working, and they texted me about 10 o'clock. I think they got the call about 9:45. And they were already working at home, and they told them to say, listen, you got to turn in your computer and all of that, and we got a severance for you and all of that. And so they text me, but I didn't know. I was working, and I have my phone on, but sometimes I don't hear it, because they beep and make all kind of noise. And I was like, look here. But occasionally I would look at it, but for some reason I didn't look at it at all. And I got home about 7:30, and I sat down and I looked at it, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I picked up the phone, and I called him, and I was like, I'm so sorry, And, you just need to be careful what you say, because I've told you, when things get tough for folks, stop saying all that stuff that people say, well, if I can do anything, if you don't mean it, don't say it. Because I'm telling you, when that kind of trouble hits somebody, they're looking for you to be a man or woman of your word. They're not looking for you to be polite. They're not even really listening for you. Well, the Lord will provide. Well, my bill is due in 2 weeks. And so I was like, well, I said, my connections in the insurance industry have been exhausted. I said, I still have my license. I'm still a licensed agent and all, and I still have my license parked at an agency, and occasionally I write some insurance. to keep the thing going because that exam was too tough and I'm not going to let it expire. And I said, but what contacts I have, I will contact them and I'll get you some information if I can. And, they were, of course, they were distraught. And it was like, in 2008, they lost their job then. And they had a 401k and they used the 401k to stay afloat. And they were in the process of trying to build their 401k back up, and now this. And they were without hope. I could hear it in their voice, but they weren't saying anything. And then I said, well, my goodness. I said, well, are you all meeting at your church yet? And he said, well, no. Wow. And they said, well, what would you do? I said, well, I would take the day and kind of lick my wounds. And I said, I'd probably pour myself a glass of wine. I'm not going to lie to y'all. That's what I said. I said, but I'd like to think by next week I'd get on my computer and just see what's out there, see what's available. And they said right away, well, about 40 or 50 million people have already been laid off. And I said, yeah, that's true. In other words, saints, what they were doing was they were reporting back to me a lot of what I had been saying. And I was like, Father, give me something to encourage this person. And so I said, well, it's still early. It's not the 15th or the 16th yet. I said, have you addressed your bill situation? And they said, no, I was in the process of doing that. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I said, I'll help you with your mortgage this month. I was very specific. I didn't say whatever you need. If I got it, you got it. That's reserved for my bloodline. See, folks, well, that's another story too, but that's all part of this too. But at that moment, I felt worthless. Worthless at that moment, because here was a person, they were like frantic. They still need a few years before they can, they still selling us on the idea that at 65 you can retire. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a whole lot of people at 65, financially they just can't, because they were still digging themselves out of a hole out of 2008. Every one of us in here that was around and working in 2008, and whether you were retired or not, about 30% of whatever you had was wiped out, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not. See, saints, we need to be more in the know. But by the time we hung up, I said, now, here's what else I would do. I said, you need to write on the list how many real friends and family you really can count on. I said, I'm not talking about the people you used to go out to lunch with and go shop. I said, no. And you know what they said? I already did that, and you was on that list. And I was like, Father, you ain't helping me much. Everything I say, they got something to come back with. And I said to them, I said, listen, I think you're going to get something else. I said, but now's when you're going to find out who your real loves are in life. I said, everybody love you when they know you got pretty good. Man, listen, and let me help you, saints, it's easy. Easier, I'll put it that way because there's really nothing easy about it. It's easier. Oh, I just love the Lord. As I'm going to my nice car, getting ready to go to my nice home, wearing my nice clothes, and people in the community think, oh, what a guy, what a guy. Praise the Lord. But then when life started happening, and then when bad things happen to righteous people, now they're looking at, well, okay, let's see now, what kind of relationship do you really have? Where's your faith? And I shared that with them. I said, listen now, they're going to be people. They're going to be looking at how you handle this. I said, now on that list, put a little check by the ones that don't return your call. I said, because the word going to get out real fast. Oh, something has happened. Their situation isn't what it was. And I'm not saying this to, listen. The Most High is still the Most High, even when things that we deem senseless happen. Let me share. As believers, what gives us the most problem with this pandemic situation, and we've had people on all sides, those that believe Hebraically, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, everybody that's got any kind of form of belief. Some of them think we're under judgment. And of course, again, they think it's just the United States. It's not just the United States. Everybody's getting a beating right now, so to speak. What gives us the most problem, and let me share this. There's a young man, I believe he's a young Jewish boy. He is taking his parents to court. He's suing his parents for being born. Yeah, he's suing his parents for being born. Stay tuned. Why did you bring that up? Because what's giving most of us a problem, and some of us would never voice it, but we think it. We're saying, Father, how could you let this happen? Because many of us believe he created everything, and nothing happens unless it crosses his desk first. And then, because of the way we were taught, some of us believe, well, really, I know we say there's one God, but see, really there's a good God and there's a bad God. Dualism. And the bad God was in the Old Testament and the good God is in the New Testament. That's the way a lot of us still think, and it's even in the way we study. And so really what most of us as believers, really what we're saying is, how you let this happen? I know I've done that. Stuff happen in your life or stuff happen in your family's life. And I'm like, how did this happen? And then you quickly reminded, well, hey, man, the sun don't rise and set on you. I didn't confer with you when I made the heavens and the earth. I tell you, when things get ugly, go back to Job. Go back to Job. Man, that cat, he went through something. I mean, and all of us are catching it. This thing has affected all of us, whether we will admit it or not. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna give the devil glory. Let me tell you something. He don't have that kind of power. But I'm not, for another time and possibly another audience. The Most High is calling the shots. There's nothing that operates outside of him. Nothing. Nothing. And that includes the things that we don't deem pleasant. But that doesn't change the fact that he's still the Most High. And even Job, man, at one of his lowest lows, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, if he take me out, he take me out, but I'm staying with him. And that's how we got to be, saints. Now, please, I'm not trying to tell you, suffer like a good son. No, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you that. But I'm saying, please, stay with him. Stay with him. Seek his wisdom, not only about how do I get through this pandemic, but seek his wisdom as to how do I get through today. Today, right now, when depression comes, Father, help me deal with this. Man, stuff's coming to your mind. Okay, if you want to, go to the Brit Hadashah and get in the Beatitudes. If that's what it takes for you. But we got to seek his wisdom, not your pastors, not your assistant pastors, not your choir, not Brother Doodad that's got a 50 million ministry. Seek his wisdom. We got to do it. We got to do it. And he wants us to do it. He wants us to do it individually, and he wants us to do it collectively. Those of you that consider yourselves a soldier, because they made one of them old gospel, well, let me stop. One of the gospel songs, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. Okay, well, and I'm not knocking it. If that's how you see yourself, all right. Well, then take your orders from the one giving out the orders. Stop listening to the soldier beside you. They don't know any more than you do. And when you see them getting in their little groups, hey, y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I'm still waiting on the chief to give some orders. Because see, sometimes when groups get together, and that's another thing, when groups get together, stuff end up in way left field. And that is so frustrating. That is so frustrating. I'm like, how did we get here when we were way over here? All it takes is one screwball to insert something that it had nothing to do with the initial premises, and now you're in a whole nother direction. And folks don't even realize you've been pointed in another direction. And folks have died putting you in the right direction. We ought to be ashamed. Don't be conceited about your own wisdom, but fear Yah and turn from evil. This will bring health to your body and give strength to your bones. Honor Yah with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your income. Then your granaries will be filled and your vats overflow. And they say here with new wine. Here I'll take it literally. But, I know I told you, read Job. Also, go back to the 7 years of famine, the 7 years when they was getting it together. Well, look, in the next few years, start gathering, saints. Start putting something to the side. Because we don't know how this thing going to go, and it's got nothing to do with, in my neighborhood so far, on the surface, don't matter if you polka dot purple and, hey neighbor, this is what's going on. But this morning as I was leaving to come here, oh Lord, now all of a sudden, here come them dumb signs. And I'm calling them dumb signs. I don't care what name is on it. And I'm not telling you not to vote. Okay? I'm not going to get into that. That's for somebody else to do. But I said to myself, Father, now that them signs are going to start cropping up, ain't going to be no more waving. Instead of waving, it's going to be. I said, man, hot dog. And I'd be so glad when all the stuff is over. And, and again, yes, I'm the same person that's telling you, be in the know, but let me say this. Limit how much of that stuff you take in. Because it's going to be tough, whoever take that office. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. He says, honor Yah with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your income. Oh, y'all remember? I got a call this past week. And remember that building I was cleaning? That restaurant? And that $10 that was there on the floor? And I told y'all I picked that $10 up. Yeah, I picked that $10 up. And yeah, I gave the $10. I put it in some of the other guys' pay as I paid them. But our pastor, I heard him yell out, that's a test. And I was like, yeah, well, I flunked it, but I made $10. That very day, I went to my favorite store. After I didn't even go home and change. Went to Fresh to Frozen. And I was coming down the aisle, and another lady was coming down the aisle, and she didn't have a mask on. And I don't get into that either. That's another smoke screen too that bring division again. And usually what I do is I just politely, I'll turn around and, go the other way. But she was fumbling and she dropped some money. And she was, pushing this way. I was coming down this way. And I was still thinking about what Pop had said, and I was like, well, yeah, you missed it, But very least you've been honest with them, and they know. Might get it today and miss it tomorrow. And I said, I was thinking about that before I got in there. But that lady, she kept coming, and I said, ma'am, you dropped something. And it must have been a wad of money, because she thanked me profusely. And I was trying to, okay. Because then I started getting mad, and I'm like, I know she was grateful, but I'm like, lady, you ain't wearing a mask. Get out of my face. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. And, somebody else dropped some money. And I said, well, what is this? I mean, are you mad at me? Are you making fun of me? That's what I asked him. I said, well, you ain't saying nothing about the credit. I found that credit card and I put it on the thing. And I asked the manager. He said, yeah, I saw it. Thank you. So I guess he was saying, well, what you did one thing right now. You won't throw that up in my face, son? I'm glad he still called me son. But I said, what is this? And then I felt real bad. I was like, man. And I said, well, maybe I should just give it $10 away. Then I said, wait a minute, I did. I paid one of my guys with part of that, And then I decided, praise the Lord, keep the money and learn a lesson. Make a long story short, I got to go back up to that place. He want me to come Monday, but I don't know, And he says, Barry, I like you. I said, oh, man. So now, what the dilemma is. I probably need to say, see it? I was in your place cleaning the other day. I'm going to let you know how it goes. But I'm kind of making a joke about it. But what if what Pastor said was right? What if it was a test and I got to get it $10 back? Is that fair to me? Don't answer. Don't answer. Don't answer. Now here we in a pandemic, and this knucklehead up here talking about $10. But see, I just love finding money. And no, again, I'm not asking y'all, oh, don't y'all stop. Oh, y'all, we got to pray that he get that $10. Come on. Now, either I'm going to obey Torah or not. It's just that simple. All right? But I want you to know I'm studying all I can between now and Monday. Because if there's any way All right, let me get back. Let me get back. Oh, And then looking in 11, he says, my son, don't despise Yah's discipline or resent his reproof. Because like I said, when the second time that thing happened, I go, well, wait a minute, what's going on now? Because see, I felt pretty good till the lady started walking up on me, and I wanted to, but that second time, that's when it really got my attention. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, what are you saying here? Because I thought I was an honest person. Did you hear what I said? I thought I was an honest person. But when that thing happened, I said, wait a minute, 2 times in one store within 30 minutes? And so I began to realize, hey, he's saying something to you here. So I had kind of dismissed it and made a joke about it. And then Thursday, I get a call from Sid. I want you to come back. I'm like, oh, man. So you see how all this thing coming together? So maybe I get another opportunity to get that $10 back. Maybe. I know in church I was supposed to say, y'all, I can't wait. I'm going to pray all the way down there, and I'm going to, no. I'm supposed to follow Torah. So even if I got to cry, I'm going to give him his money back. But what I'm hoping, and then I'll move on, is that he go, oh, man, okay, hey, you just keep it. Sometimes people give you a reward. Sometimes they don't. Getting back to his wisdom, and I'm hopeful that in my sharing that you've had just a little bit of time where we can see, saints, we do need a break. We need a break. I mean, the onslaught is just constant. And I'm telling you, that's by design. Listen, the worse the news, the more they want to give you of it. I don't care where it's coming from. I don't care what station it's coming from. And that includes what we call Christian stations. Bad news is selling right now. And there's a battle for your eyes and your ears. The stations are profiting as you turn in. YouTube is paying folks based on, they tell you, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Why? Because they get paid. And things like YouTube and the other modes, they wearing the major networks out, and and the executives are starting to voice that. Streaming is on the rise. But every day, we got to seek his wisdom. Right now, he's dealing with me about that money. And it's really not the money. I think it's the concept. He's like, hey, listen here. Man, you getting up here, and your dad give you a little time to stand before people, and you getting in gray areas, and you being wishy-washy. And you don't get no points just because you told the truth about it. Maybe you didn't do the best thing. I'm going to give you another chance. And again, don't get caught up on the denomination of what it was. It's the concept. It's the concept. See, I had no problem getting that credit card and putting it up on the thing where the manager could find it. Didn't think twice, just automatic. And just as automatic as I put that card up there, somehow that $10 bill found its way right in my pocket. I didn't think twice. Why couldn't it have been out on the sidewalk outside? But it's the concept. And I'm saying that because, see, saints, a lot of times it's concepts that he's dealing with us about our lives. Because, see, we, again, because of the way we've been taught, we go, Lord, I don't do this, I don't do that, and I don't do that. He said, yeah, but you got a whole room of stuff that you do that you need to get that mess cleaned up. Well, we don't want to talk about that right now, Father. I just want to bask in the fun. I don't do this, I don't do that, and I don't do that. Those are the only three things you can be clean about? You only operate in three aspects of life, whatever those three things are? He wants to be real intimate with you, and I mean real intimate. More intimate than you are with your mate. What? Yeah. Yeah. For real? See, that's stuff that only you and he know about. That's what he won't deal with. And he's given us time, and he's slowed everything down. He said, all right, all y'all, time out. Now, I will say this because one of the sisters the last week had asked me about, 2 minutes, had asked me about the United States, and it was a good question, and I responded that, I said, all the countries are in trouble. And I meant that. I wasn't trying to not answer her question. But I will answer that this way. The people that have been successful in getting the Torah, understanding the Torah, profiting from the Torah, have had a lot of say-so about how it's been translated, how its reference books have been put together. They want us to take in as much fear and misgivings about one another that we can. See, the only way they can be successful is by stirring up conflict. Stirring up conflict. And they're brilliant individuals. They're in government, they're in banking, they're doctors and lawyers. Now, how many other aspects of life do we deal in? And I'm just sharing this because the news is going to get worse. I was thumbing through, listening to some other people that study the scriptures from a Hebraic perspective. And it's quite interesting. You know, we beat up Christianity pretty good, talking about, well, we got so many denominations. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of SECTS of people that study scriptures from the Hebraic perspective, too. They got a lot of division, too. I'm going to tell you. It's surprising. And I will say this again. Everybody that has a central bank or a Federal Reserve, their finances are controlled by this group. And they're in different countries. And yet, the United States has a Federal Reserve, and none of us know exactly who the financiers are behind the Federal Reserve. We have some ideas. But if you notice, those names have never been given. And people, even people in Congress, have asked point blank. And they've never gotten an answer. They've asked on TV. And in 2008, when they had all the bankers in there, the regular bankers, because see, now the Federal Reserve and central banks, they're different from the other banks. They're different from the banks that you and I bank with. But if you notice, when things got bad, and I'm going to close, they had all the guys from the banks that we bank with, and they grilled them. They embarrassed them. You know, and one of them even lost his job. And we thought, that's getting them. No. See, these people are so insidious that they will sacrifice their own. So what do you think they're going to do with you and me? I'm telling you. Now, not all like with any group, because see, there are a lot of people from that region that converted to what we call Judaism, that are telling the truth. They're writing books. They're putting out material saying, hey, this is what they're doing. Now, I don't know how long they're going to be alive or around, because you got to be careful with this kind of stuff. And they don't play. It will cost you your life. And it is not up to them to determine whether you live or die. But a lot of us are under the premonition that if I give my life for this, the Most High will be pleased. I don't think so. Don't put yourself in harm's way needlessly. We're going to get through this, saints, and we're going to need one another. And we need one another not so much because we're used to seeing one another, but prayerfully, our hearts really will begin to knit together when we exercise His wisdom and His love and stop being fake. Amen. God bless you. Pastor.